All right. Welcome back to Star Technology. And start going over some of the things we've done since the last stream and start working on a few new things because we have definitely hit the point now in this world where we're starting to run out of certain resources. Some of it we have tons of. It never ends. Some of it, however, not so much. Hey, Mike, how's it going? Nice to see you here. We're here checking out some Star Technology today. So, playing and trying to get some more resources because some of our machines are just not keeping up anymore. Which kind of sucks, but oh well, that's okay. So, since the last stream, we've added in a whole bunch of distillation towers and different fluid crackers before. So we got those all up and running, trying to get all our fuel processing going. Finally turning in all that heavy oil into all kinds of fancier materials that we can use down the road. So I'm excited about that. Yeah, this pack is pretty cool. It's one of the only like true Greg Tech packs for, relatively modern Minecraft. It's in 1.20.1. So that's kind of the nice thing about this mod pack. It's my first time ever playing Greg Tech, so I'm excited to. I've been loving it, like absolutely enjoying it. It's been so much fun. So we're finally getting into extreme voltage, and I've even made an insane voltage. So we're on to power tier 5 technically. If we look at, yeah. So we're on to power tier 5. Yeah, I've never played Greg Tech before, and a lot of people say it's a ton of fun, or you either love it or you hate it. And I like to think that I'm on the side of absolutely loving it. So I'm trying to make all the different circuits and the machines and different power and stuff like that. It's always so much fun. So, and it's a bit of a change of pace from your normal all the mods 10. Yeah, leaning towards loving it. You never know. As I get higher and higher into the tiers, I might not love it so much, but for now it seems to be doing fine. So we're going to actually change that out. I don't like that pressure plate. This one here. I wanted it to be iron so then it would kind of match, but it just opens the door too quick. So some of what we're going to do today is actually in this cleaning room. It's a little bit small. We're starting to get a little cramped up, so I got to spend some time getting that all upgraded. But we need to start doing some work in EV, which actually uses this cutter right here. So we can finally get him going. So we only have 1 amp worth of EV, and that makes the machines kind of slow. Like, this is only a 1 amp energy converter, but it only has to run this cutter, so hopefully it can keep up. Indeed, I have tried Create. In fact, we've done 4 servers now with me and different friends all around Create. And there's actually, as you can see, some Create stuff in Star Technology. So Create is kind of your starting mod to kind of get you going. And to this day, even though we've, if we look at the statistics, I've got 6.6 days of playtime. We're still using Create because it's our primary power generation using the Create New Age mod. So I've spent many, many, many hours playing with Create, that's for sure. It's a good mod. Okay, so the reason we need the cutter, we actually need to grab some lubricant. Yes. Let's grab that. We're going to throw that into him. And we need to cut some wafers. Yeah, right now, like in this mod pack, unless you do all the Greg Tech specific power generations, the easy power generations are basically non-existent. Like most mod packs, there's no extreme reactors or power or anything like that, like you'd see in like all the mods. So your options for cheap power generation are pretty low. So, and quite frankly, these two guys, like, even though we have next to no stress units remaining, these guys just cannot keep up. It's not good enough power. Ooh, Lexi has my room ready. Perfect. I am looking forward to that. I cannot wait to get into and show you guys the ropes of all the mods. Then you guys will have stuff like this set up. Nice AE2 systems running your whole base. Or you'll have stuff like this, where it's just all automated crafting and everything. So, we'll get you guys taken care of. Okay, so what we're trying to make right now is these MPIC chips. We need those ones because we need to make some high voltage energy hatches. And that's kind of where we're stuck right now. So I believe I have the MPIC wafers. Yes, we have 12 of them. I was able to cut those in a high voltage laser engraver, but I need an extreme voltage cutter to actually do anything with them. Okay. MPIC. Oh, and then, oh, high power circuit. Oh, there's more. Okay, so it's going to take some lubricant, which we just put in it, and some MPIC, or the MPIC wafers to make the chips. So we're just going to throw those guys in there, let them do their job for a bit. They're going to take 45 seconds per, which is perfectly fine by me. And then that should be everything we need. I believe we still have some sodium, potassium. Yeah, we got lots of that left. So that's perfect. And we got the cutter, so that's all good. So we can get rid of all that. So the cutter takes... So the weird thing about the cutter in GregTech is they always have a buzzsaw blade in the recipe. And the material you need to make the buzzsaw by design, and it even tells you in the quest book when you make your first cutter that the material is always designed to be a lot more difficult to obtain than any of the other recipes or materials at your current power tier. So that's why making cutters is always the biggest pain in the butt. And unfortunately, to make the cutter, to make this ultimate plates, go through, make the hot, you have to eventually make ultimate dust. And most of that is fine. Cobalt, we've got tons of. Chromium, we're getting. Nickel, we've got tons of. Molybdenum, that one we don't have a lot of. That one we have to go through a distillery process. There's a whole bunch of stuff towards it before we can actually get the molybdenum itself. There's a whole processing line. And it starts all the way back from this molten ore mixture. We go through the distillery, and then it makes molten molybdenite ore, and then we have to process it down, and yeah, it just gets farther and farther. So, but we got a little bit of molybdenite, which is great because eventually we're going to need more of it. So if we just look up, we have 32 remaining. Eventually we're going to need it to make this, RTM alloy dust, because that is the next tier of power, or ingot, I guess you could call it. And we take it through, what is it? The wire mill. Probably... I can't remember. It's one of the ones, but when we look... Our blast furnaces, the next coil blocks are RTM coil blocks. I had to build an addition onto our house. You're required by law to play with us now. Well, what if I don't want to? Maybe now that I'm required, I suddenly don't want to, and I'm going to go back to enjoying watching you guys suffer your way through it. Now I'm excited. I can't wait to see the room. So, what is up with this guy? Distilled water. How are we out of distilled water? Oh my goodness. Yep, we are out of distilled water again. Like, nothing I do can help this thing keep up. Okay, well, let's put another distillery in. Good thing I made 2 of them. So we're going to use 2 of them. Because why not? So we're going to automate these guys with AE2. They're going to watch how much they have in their, like, in the ME system, and will turn themselves on and off accordingly. So they can sit here and make as much as they want, as fast as they want, and when they hit a certain point, they'll stop until we start running back out, and then they'll turn back on. Okay, let's throw those guys down, let them start getting power. Grab some export buses. Let's make... Yeah, we'll just make 2 more import buses. So obviously they've been Gregified. Everything gets more expensive. But we no longer have to ever craft that ourselves. The joys of applied energistics. It's now using this array of machines and these guys here, and is just going to make them for us. And there we go. Just like that. Now we look into the system, and there's my import buses. It's crazy, I know. You've never seen witchcraft like this. Okay, we'll get them to make 2 of those cards. Let's grab some redstone torches. I should probably just teach it how to make these cards for me instead of doing it this way, but yeah, whatever. Actually, you know what? Let's just do that. I'm tired of doing that. Let's see. Redstone card. You make that. You make that. So, for those that do not know, this is how you encode recipes for applied energistics. And this is why I always say that applied energistics is... It's the make or break point for any difficult mod pack, because it can take what is normally a very, very mundane task of microcrafting and just a whole bunch of garbage, and it can turn it into a significantly easier time for you by having it do all the auto crafting for you. So anytime you want, you can... We'll grab some more patterns because we're out. So you can use blank patterns, and these are basically like little storage cells that act as a set of instructions for applied energistics. So let's say we want to make something random. We're going to do... Well, maybe not random. Something I actually want to make. Let's do a level emitter. It's a fairly basic recipe, but that's good. That'll work out good. So normally in JEI, you'd be looking at your crafting table or crafting terminal, and you'd go, oh, I don't have any calculation processors. And then I'd have to go, okay, this is how I make calculation processors, and follow all of those steps. Instead, what I can do is go to the pattern encoding terminal, tell it make those, so you can see when I hover over them, they're blue. That means the system already knows how to make those 2 items. So we can teach it this recipe, the little plus symbol, say, yep, I already know how to make it. We encode the pattern. This is a crafting style pattern. And then we take it up to our molecular assemblers, find one of the pattern providers that's empty, and throw it in. And now, anytime I tell it, hey, please make me the level emitter, this pattern provider will give those recipe resources to the molecular assembler, and he's like an automated crafting table, and he'll just craft it for me. So yes, even though it's Minecraft, it's, you know, you're supposed to do mining and crafting. Now it's more like I'm doing mining and making it do the crafting. So to make your life a lot easier, you can use the pattern access terminal. This guy will already find all of my molecular assemblers and all my different machines that I have hooked up to it. All of the items you see in here are actually patterns that I've taught the system how to make different things. So you just go find your corresponding thing, in this case molecular assembler, and you can see there's our level emitter. So now I can go into the terminal, and I say, now I want to make a level emitter. Let's just pretend there's none in the system right now. So it's out of my inventory, it's on the floor, doesn't exist. You'll notice, well, it's back in the inventory, but you'll notice how it says craft. There's not in there, it just says craft. So click on that. Okay, I want to make one of them, or I can make 100 or 1,000. Let's say I want 6,000 of them because I'm crazy. We hit next. Then it'll go through and it'll calculate all of the resources that you need to make 6,100 of them, in this case. And any resource it doesn't currently have, you can then say, oh, it'll come up in red. So that'll give you an idea. Okay, it knows all this stuff. It knows how to make all this stuff. Everybody's good. Everybody's happy. But what it doesn't know how to make are all these other resources. So this kind of becomes a checklist. So now at this point, I can teach it advanced recipes, or like the thing I'm trying to make, try to make it, and it'll tell me, hey, I don't know what to do with, I don't know where to get all these other resources. They're all missing. And now I have a checklist of everything else I need to teach it. So, and it works with all kinds of different machines. These pattern provider blocks are the same thing as the pattern providers on top of the machines. In fact, if we take it off real quick, put it in the crafting window, there's the block. So these just allow you to integrate directly with one of the machines. So we'll put his patterns back in there. So it's basically the same thing, but now this pattern provider will say, I know how to make XYZ resource using the machine that I'm connected to. He'll push the items into the machine will process it, and then the machine itself will push them back into the pattern provider, which will put it back into the system to be used by whatever other system it needs to do. Because you can do multi-step crafting. It's not just, it knows how to... you look at a crazy crafting tree. Like, well, let's say cutter, because that's a pretty crazy crafting tree. So we say we want to make that. It knows how to go through all the different steps. It doesn't care how deep the recipe is. This is everything you need to do to make the cutter. So you teach it all of the steps, and boom, you're done. Now, this is going to be a little more extreme because it's Greg Tech, but if you're doing something like All the Mods 10, per se, you can teach the system how to do everything. It's fantastic. So, and then you can get into bigger, better devices, stuff like that. There are add-on mods, like extended AE, where normally a pattern provider will only have 9 rows. Now it's got 36 rows. So now this thing can know up to about 36 unique recipes. So instead of needing 4 advanced assemblers, now I only need 1. So that alone is awesome because assemblers are expensive. In fact, quite honest, when it comes to Greg Tech, I may as well just not even say it's expensive anymore, because everything's expensive. Like, even when you start at LV, the cheapest stuff to make, when you're in the territory of needing to make all the LV machines like you see here, at that time, they're expensive. Now they're super cheap. But the machines I actually want, because they're way faster, are expensive. So that's just my life, I guess. Okay, so it should be done making those chips. They won't... So let's go check him out. Yep. There's our 48 MPIC chips. That's fantastic. So now, I could teach it how to make these MPIC chips if I wanted to. I'm not going to use a lot of them, so I just manually made that portion. But I taught the system how to make everything else. So I only had to manually make the MPIC chips myself. And now let's say I want an energy hatch. Yep, everything's good. I hit start. It'll start interacting with all the machines and start making them. So, what we want to do is we actually want to make 6 of them. At least. If not, probably 7 of them, I think, right now. I know some of these words. Honestly, when we go to actually show you on ATM 10, it'll make way more sense, because everything, like all the numbers, the fluids, the machines, everything is just way overly complicated because it's Greg Tech. But once we start showing the machines on ATM 10, things will start making a lot more sense. So, the reason we want one of those energy hatches is this distillation tower. I'm trying to do the molten ore mixture, which we talked about a minute ago. But instead of using a distillery going 1-to-1, you only get one of the fluid outputs. The distillation tower can use the same 10 buckets of molten ore mixture and make all 7 outputs. That's why we want to go with the distillation tower. However, I've run into a problem. And this one kind of drove me nuts. I was a little upset when I saw this. It's an EV recipe. It has to run at extreme voltage minimum to do this job. Currently, this guy only has high voltage, so he can't do the recipe. So we need to teach it how to be able to do the recipe. So, we currently have... These are all 1x wires. That probably wasn't the greatest idea. In fact, we should take all of these out. I was just thinking about it. So these are your superconducting wire for this tier of power. As you can see, it says in the tooltip, EV superconductor. The problem that these wires have, and the reason why I had to take them out, you'll notice their max amperage is 32. It can only do 32 amps. This converter can do 64 amps, which means if I all of a sudden turn on a whole bunch of machines and say go, and it consumes more than the 32 amps, these wires will literally catch on fire. It happens to me all the time right here with this guy. Usually these 4 will catch on fire, light up all the wood, start burning the base down. And that's because I have some of those machines, but this guy, these 2 machines, this cutter, these guys, the blast furnaces, they all run off of that single line and love to consume more than the amperage those wires can handle. So with EV, after realizing the mistake I made, I want to try to correct that right out of the gate. Thankfully, these wires that we made are not useless. We can just combine them together. 2 32 amp wires makes a single 64 amp. There we go. Now we have 38 2x Enderium wire. So now we'll start placing all our cables back down. I'm not going to go quite as crazy this time. I want to start getting things somewhat ready, because eventually I'm going to pop this down and run them into the 6 power adapters for the blast furnace once they're ready for extreme voltage. So now you might have the wondering, why can't I just hook them up right now? It's got power inverters. Maybe it can't utilize that. The problem is, because they're a high voltage energy hatch and I want to put extreme voltage into them, they'll actually blow up, which is quite funny. So you definitely don't want to do that. So I've done it. I know certain friends who are playing along with this mod pack have also done it. I just have my chance now to make fun of him because I know he's in bed asleep right now. There. So we'll get all that hooked up. Let's move my assembler real quick out of the way. And clip the wire. So it's kind of a pain in the butt the way the GregTech wires work, in that you have to kind of manually connect them yourself. Initially, that drove me nuts, and you feel like, oh, that's such a pain in the butt. But there are times where you're running LV and MV together beside each other. I don't know if there's any example of it at the moment. But if you had a high voltage rail right beside a medium voltage rail and those wires connected, it's going to burn up the medium voltage rail. So you don't want to do that. So in this case, we're not gonna. And I'd love to showcase it, but it's very expensive, so that's not gonna happen. So yeah, eventually we want to run it down. We'll connect it up to these guys. These guys I have to rebuild anyways, because I had a goof when I put these together last stream. And they're supposed to be moved over that direction 1 block, because it interferes with my tunnel and it drives me nuts. So I have to rebuild them anyways. But we're going to use Create for that. And we're going to super glue all of this together and use a mechanical piston and just push it over. Because we can. Okay. So we know we need 6 for him and 1 for a distillation tower. So let's see. Can we make 7? It's going to take 56 titanium That hurts a little bit. But other than that, looks like we have everything we need. It's also going to take 14 platinum. That also kind of hurts, but whatever. Need to get it done. So in this quest book, you don't get, like, random items as rewards. Your quests, you get these StarTech coins. And then what you can do is they have a full shop where you can go and buy stuff. So say I need a couple EV circuits, it's late at night, I really don't want to sit here and craft them, or wait half an hour for AE2 to craft it for me. I can spend 20 coins and get 8 circuits. So that's a nice option that this mod pack has. Alright, so that's all pre-prepped and ready to go. What we'll do is we'll start running our wire down and just start bringing it over so it's ready to go. So he'll be ready. Those EVFs are going to get their power from our energy converter, and that's going to use RF, which is nice. One upgrade that I've made for our RF storage. Originally, we had the basic redstone flux networks. By the way, awesome mod if you need wireless power transfer. Originally, we had the basic flux storage, which is 200 million RF. Now we're running the gargantuan, which is 128 billion RF. So we're not generating any more power than we were before. But what we are doing is we're storing way more of it. So in the event that we decide to turn on a machine for a little bit that completely takes up all our power, it at least can last a little bit longer before we start running out of power again. So, and when it fills up, like when that 200 million filled up, it didn't have a lot of buffer to it, even though 200 million sounds like a lot, it's really not. And then all of the power being generated by Create, the lapidary dynamos, and the new solar panels, which are right there, all would go to nothing. They you know, it didn't have a lot of reserve to it. So this should help on that front a little bit. Because at least these guys, if you want them to, if you bypass the limit, they can transfer at, like, ridiculous speeds. In fact, I don't think their transfer per tick has a limit if you bypass it. It might be the 32-bit integer limit. Well, 32 to the power of 32 minus 1 or whatever. Otherwise, you get an overflow. So 2.14 billion RF per tick, which that's per tick, so it does that 20 times a second. Which works out good, because the translation from RF to EU is pretty bad. So, for example, this does 2048 EU per tick at 64 amps, and if this block hits full 64 amps, that's like 500,000 EU per, or RF per tick. And if you think that's crazy, if you want to make the endgame item Maxwell the Cat, that's, what, 8 trillion EU at 125 million EU per tick? You do the reverse math on that, that's like 1 billion RF per tick. So it would drain our entire power storage in less than a second. And it wouldn't even be able to do this because it would drain it in less than a second, and it needs 3,200 seconds to craft. So that's the problem we're going to run into. Power, I think, is going to be a problem for a while. All right. So these guys are chugging along, making our stainless steel. So something that's going to change really quickly here once those are all done is you'll notice to smelt a stainless steel, it takes 9.2 seconds per. And that's running at extreme voltage. So things are a little bit weird when it comes to these big multi-block crafting units. Even though it's only getting high voltage current in, because it has 2 energy hatches per blast furnace, they actually think of themselves at the next tier higher. So that's how we can get into the next tier of whatever it is we're trying to make. So if we're now going to send 2 extreme voltage powers into each of the EBFs, that's actually going to turn it into insane voltage, which is the next tier higher than the power we're giving it. So that's how you can do... It's kind of tier skipping, but what they call it is overclocking. So you'll notice when we redo it all, this should, in theory, drop this number in half. So it should go down to 4.6 seconds per stainless steel, in theory. I'm not sure if this does a perfect 50%, but looks like he's almost done. Why did you not craft? What is wrong with you? Sir, are you broken? Assembler. Oh, you needed circuit type 1. That's why. I forgot to put a circuit card in him. Wonder what happened to his circuit card. Must have fallen. There. Now he's going to make the circuit hatch. So let's do that real quick. Let's grab a crafting card. And then we're going to make a... Grab a LV microchip. Combine all those. So for Greg Tech specifically, Applied Energistics has a cool option, which is these programmed circuit cards. Because some of these machines need their circuit type set in order to do the recipe, like you just saw. Oh, it must have failed because it's got one. That's weird. But yeah, these programmed circuit cards will correct for that. My guess is because I forgot to turn back when I moved it. I forgot to turn on blocking mode. And now we have recipes that have 2 different circuit numbers. So they probably tried to push in together. And that's why it failed. So next time it shouldn't do that. Okay. So now we got 7 EV energy hatches. So what we're going to do is we're going to break him. Probably start burning up a bunch of wires. In fact, let's do this. Let's turn off the blast furnaces for a second. We'll disconnect him here. It'd be nice to have this converter back. We'll break those guys. And there we go. So now we can hook up our wire. Snip them together. Bring him down. Him over. And now we should be able to connect it to the power. It's consumed about 9 amps for a second there just to get everybody all charged up. And now we can turn them on. Yep, 4.6 seconds per. So now we have blast furnaces running at insane voltages. They're consuming significantly more EU per tick, but they're running twice as fast. And there's our new problem. So we can't actually sustain, with our current power generation, having those guys running all the time. Which is kind of a problem. Because I believe they actually have a decent amount of stainless steel left to go, so we'll probably run out of power before they finish, which kind of sucks, but oh well. Okay, so let's go grab our other converter. 1 amp EV converter. Now we're going to convert him to extreme voltage. So I'm going to break this wire, and this block. And we're going to break that wire so they don't accidentally connect. Snip him. And we're going to do a little bit of cheaty. So we're going to do 1 amp energy converter. We'll grab the wrench. Oh no, that's a crowbar. Sorry, it's a little dark. There's the wrench. We should be able to flip him around. And then bebop out of there. And now we should be able to hook up our flux point. This guy right here. He'll consume a ton of RF, kind of kicking things up. And now you can see his face switch to green. And he's processing it. Because he's now finally running at extreme voltage. So, thank goodness for that. Okay. Looks like everything on that is good. Unfortunately, yeah. Big RF problems. Not good. And I don't think our diamond supply can handle us switching more machines on. Let's see. Where is... There they are. I never remember what those things are called. Let's take you out, put one of you in. Take you out, put one of you in. Take you out, put one of you in. So we're going to chew through diamonds a lot faster. Oh no, never mind. They were already running on the big multi-cycle. Oh. LV, MV, HV. We might have to go to an EV upgrade kit. These guys here. Okay, let's teach it how to make that. Okay, so it doesn't know how to make these 4 resources. That's fine. We can teach it. So resonant ender is an extractor. Stainless steel gear is an extruder. I believe I have a gear-based extruder. Enderium glass is a fluid solidifier. Oh, that's an EV fluid solidifier. That's going to be a problem. Let's see if we can make one. Extruder with a fan. Stainless steel screw. Okay. So let's go with a lathe. You can make the screw. Just go through, find where our rotor is. Okay. There's the rotor. I think we did that one as a crafting. No, we don't. Yeah, we don't want to do that. What we need to do is do him in an assembler. There we go. But we need the rubber ring version. Okay, he can go into that assembler. He can go into the crafter. He needs to go into the alloy smelter, I believe. No, fluids. Oh yeah, we need to make the fluid solidifier to make him. Okay. I don't think we have an extruder for the main stainless gears, so that's fine. We'll just make some. Gear. Grab our extruder molds. We'll find one of our extruders. Watch me not have one. Extractor. Yep, only got an extractor. Okay. I should have an extruder up here I can borrow for a minute. Yes, I do. Okay. So we'll just have to remember he needs that back. fluid solidifier. You still need to know how to make a stainless steel bolt and the titanium fluid pipe. Okay, that's fine. I'll teach you how to make that. And then what else do we need? Yeah, this normal fluid pipe, which is the extruder. Okay. So let's go through here. Have any that are normal pipes? Yes, we do. Let's hope that titanium pipe isn't... It's an MV. That's fine. That extruder is MV. You can tell by the blue text in his name. Okay. Now we should be able to make a fluid solidifier. Like everybody's happy. You can hear all the machines kick on. Away they go. If you look upstairs, you'll see some machines are starting to light up and do their thing. This is all being managed by the AE system. Until I made the AE system, if I wanted to make that machine, I'd have to do it myself, and we'd be spending the next, like, half an hour, 45 minutes of me just sitting here manually crafting things. Okay. So, another really cool thing about applied energistics that I love is you can actually keep an eye on where it's at with any of the crafting that it's doing. In the top right-hand corner, you can click crafting status. You can look at your different crafting CPUs that you have, and you can start to see, okay, this is what it's working on. So right now it's crafting some plastic circuit boards, and it's scheduling these parts. All of these parts are available because they're waiting on something else. So you can always kind of tell what it's scheduled on. Now, when you look through it, if you see, okay, this is green and crafting, but it never actually completes, you come back 20 minutes later, it still hasn't completed or anything like that, then you can go and check on that machine, because maybe it was one of those ones where it was like, oh, we got the wrong voltage of machine, or we forgot to set something up. It gives you a rough idea of, like, either this is what I'm waiting for, or this is where I'm stuck. So now, right now, you'd think, oh, maybe it's stuck because it's taking a bit. As you can see, it wasn't. Some recipes they just take a while. Okay, do we have a spare pattern? Yes, we do. So let's throw him in there. We're going to borrow him for now. I don't really like using my machines. The ones down here are kind of my machines. I don't like using them per se with crafting, but right now we've only got so many EV machines that I don't really have a choice. So he's going to do the fluid. He's my fluid solidifier. We're going to tell him push items down, but you're allowed to take items on the input. I don't believe... Yeah, there's no crafting card with that, so he doesn't need it, and then we'll just enable blocking mode. Okay, so that should take care of that portion. We're making those gears. The EV upgrade kit, I'm trying to rush a little bit, is in an EV assembler. So let's put that in our EV assembler real quick. And then the resonant ender is in any of my fluid-based extractors, which is this guy right here. So we can do that. We'll deal with the stainless gear in a minute here. How are we doing for power? We still got 1.1 billion. Let's go to sleep so we can turn the solar panels back on. Okay. So we should, in theory... Oops. EV upgrade kit. We should, in theory, be able to make 3. No. We need liquid enderium, and we need the blue alloy plates. Okay. Liquid enderium is in the extractor again. That's a high voltage extractor. Let's make sure a fluid-based one... Yep, orange. So he's good. Okay, that took care of that. And then the blue steel plates are in the bender. He can be done at low voltage, so all our machines will be able to handle that. Let's look up bender. Throw him in there. Okay. Let's try that again. Perfect. So you can get a rough idea right from, if you hover over the CPU, what kind of percentage it's done. You can see that machine over there just turned on. So they're kind of figuring out where all the resources need to go, what they need to do, stuff like that. But you can get a rough idea on the percentage completion and how long it's been running for. In order to do auto-crafting and applied energistics, you need these guys. They're multi-blocks. So you need a crafting it's optional, but I definitely recommend it. A crafting co-processing unit. That's the block that allows it to run more machines at the same time. Kind of think of it like a computer with like different threads. This is more threads. It can handle more individual tasks simultaneously. Then you need the actual storage for the crafting unit itself, because it's going to pull all the resources that it needs out of the system and put it into storage into this block right here to be used for the recipe. So that way, if I say, make me a fluid solidifier, and then, oh, I also need you to make me another machine of the same caliber that's going to use all the same components, they don't start stealing each other's components. And then you don't need it. This is another optional one. The only one that's actually fully required is the storage unit itself. That will do the auto-crafting. What I did add is a crafting monitor. It's something I can easily click on and see. And then the other thing is you can name the block, the actual crafting monitor itself, which will then cause the name to show up down in the crafting terminal, so alpha and beta. That's really nice to have, so you can name different CPUs, and then you know, oh, okay, if I need to do, you know, let's craft this automatic, oh, I know CPU beta can handle it, so we'll tell beta to do it, kind of thing. So, because you can have different storage amounts in each of your CPUs. So you might have a whole bunch of 16K CPUs that'll just kind of do their thing. But then you might have, say, a 256K CPU that can handle way bigger recipes, because the more items that are needed and the more steps that are needed to do a recipe, the more storage for the actual items themselves it's going to take up. So it's nice to have some bigger CPUs. And then some people, when they have especially a few people on a base at a given time, they may say, okay, we have 8 crafting CPUs. Unless it's an absolute emergency, please never use CPU 3. We'll reserve that one for whatever we need. And then we go into CPU 3, and we specify that it is only allowed for requests by automation. Therefore, players cannot use that CPU. It has to be done through automation. That way, if there's any kind of machine that always requires something being crafted, there's always a CPU ready and available for it. The players can't use it. It's automation always has it, but we can see from the crafting status CPU number 3 in the list, so we know that it's still there, kind of thing. So it's kind of cool. Way more complicated than most people probably ever need, but yeah, it's fun. All right, we're gonna take that out. We're gonna put that in. That bumps you up to 9600 RF per tick from 7200. So we're gonna burn through diamonds like crazy doing this, but that's fine. We can set up more sifters to sift sand. Because, you know, apparently diamonds come from sand. That makes sense. So we'll go check on our sifters, see if there's any of them. Yeah, he's not doing anything. There's the third one. There might be an issue with the crafting CPU, the AE system at the moment, because like it still thinks it has to craft stuff, but it shouldn't need to because we've got them all. That was weird. I've never crafted these things through automation before, so I'm not sure what their deal was. But that's fine. Okay. So yeah, we're sitting at about 30,000 RF per tick. Through those guys. We'll throw all that in there. Go back up to... which extruder was it? This one. I'll put the big pipe in there so we don't mess him up. Then we'll throw him in there. We'll just clear out this pattern. Whoops. So if you've ever encoded a pattern and you don't need it anymore, you hold it in your hand and shift right click. It'll switch it back to a blank pattern and then you can use it again. So they're not a one and done or oops, I messed it up. It's easy to deal with. So, and if you take any of your existing ones and be like, oh, there's a problem with it, you can actually just drop it back in there and it'll bring it up. And then you can tweak it and change it however you need. Push the re-encode it, and then throw it back in, and you're done. So they're just simple instructions that tell the machines what they need to do. If I give you this, you're supposed to give me this. And that's how the AME system knows what it needs to do. Okay, with all those going, nope, we're still draining power considerably. So, yeah, power is going to be a problem. So we might have to pull the stainless steel out of these guys. So we'll tell them, you're not allowed to make stainless anymore. Let's grab all the dust. Let them finish. Okay. Because quite frankly, I made sure to clear all these guys out. Yep. Yep, okay. Because if I put this dust back in the system, it's just going to pull it right back into those machines. And I don't think we really need much stainless steel at the moment. Yeah, we have 5,500. That's looking really good. Okay, I'd like to keep you going because tungstenite, sheldonite, limonite, whatever, molybdenine, these are all resources we really, really need. So I'm hoping I can just leave him going. Yeah, now we're profiting. So those guys are pulling, those three, when they're running, that's like 100,000 RF per tick. That's crazy. Just crazy. Let's see if there's another way to get diamonds. Yeah, it looks like sifting is going to be our best bet. But we have infinite sand. So we're going to tell him, hey, please start putting the sand in there. So import and export buses are super cool. They can take anything that from your storage from the applied system, and the import and export buses are kind of like your in-the-world integrations between applied energistics and any of the machines. So an export bus will say export something from the ME system, and I tell it what I want it to export, and then you can see here, it's starting to fill up the input of the mechanical sieve. How's this guy doing? He is doing fantastic. How are we doing on charcoal? Very poor. Okay. We're going to turn you back on. Please request that. You've got an acceleration card. He'll start converting it into charcoal at a pretty good rate. I turned him off for a while because we're getting to the point now, like we have 4,000 buckets of creosote oil just sitting there. So he's like your blast furnace that you'd see from Immersive Engineering or any of those mods. He's just a fancier version of that. It's called the Pyroloise Oven. It's just a fancy, faster coke oven. Like, for example, if we look at the Pyroloise Oven, and we take any log, so 16 logs will turn into 20 charcoal in 4 buckets, and he's running at EV, so it'll make 20 charcoal every 8 seconds. So, like, way faster. It's a beautiful thing. Hey, it looks like we're doing good on silver. Silver's been another one that we've been struggling with, to say the least. Okay, let's see. How's everybody back here? You guys should all be running at high voltage. Yeah, high voltage. I don't think you're overclockable. Okay. This guy here is our next big problem. Let me guess. Distilled water, man. I swear. Oh yeah, that's probably because we never finished that. Export, import, level emitter. Redstone card. Let's make a second redstone card. Emitter. Okay, start grabbing cable. Let's put our export buses in. We'll tell them, please export water. Please export water. We're going to put an acceleration card in each of those, so then they export water even faster. Let's look at this distillery. Let's grab an import and import. Let's grab an acceleration card. Then they can each have one. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to set up more cables. We're going to grab our level emitters. These things are really cool, and this is how the ME system's going to control it. So what we're going to do is we're going to put down the level emitter, and we're going to say the distilled water, what you're making. If you see more than, let's check the other ones so they're all the same. 500, okay. So we set it for 500. It switches to a B because it knows it's a fluid, so 500 buckets of it. And then we want this to emit when levels are above or equal to. Yeah. Okay. So when the levels get to 500 buckets, this little redstone torch will turn on, and yes, it works like real redstone. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go to the import bus. We're going to add the redstone card to it, and we're going to say you are active without signal. So as long as the redstone torch is off, please export fluids from the distillery. The distillery is going to take the water, and it's going to turn it into distilled water. Same with this guy. And then we will hook up our ME cable to it. Can't do it with you yet. Need to do 500 buckets, distilled water, emit when levels are above. Redstone card, and then active without signal. Boom. So now he's turning water into distilled water. The export bus, or the import bus, sorry, is sucking it all into the system, which should now be exporting. Yeah, so now he's at 8 buckets already, and the number's climbing. So now we're actually making more distilled water than we're using, which is going to keep this guy running. I wanted to go a little bit more overboard because what I desperately, desperately need to do is set up more of him. The reason we want more of him, what he's doing is he's taking, in this case, crushed silver ore. He's the ore processor. He's taking our crushed ore and making actual dusts out of it. The dusts we actually need. If I look up crushed, you'll notice there's anywhere from 117,000 to 1,300 of all these crushed ores. And they're coming from the macerator. Because he's taking the raw ores, crushing it down so we can get more out of them, and then the ore processor is getting even more out of them. So by doing this, you're taking one raw ore, and you could be turning it into anywhere from 4 to 9 ingots. He's a bottleneck, and a big one at that. It has been a bottleneck since day one. So that's kind of a problem. Why are you not running? What is wrong with you? You have... Oh, naphtha. That's why. Naphtha is slowest to produce from the oil. He'll probably be the next one that we need to upgrade to high voltage. He's running every 100 millibuckets a second, but if we look up oil, we still have 6,000 buckets to run. So that's 600 seconds? No. No, that'd be 6,000 seconds? No, 60... I think it's like 60,000 seconds. So 1,000 minutes, and then whatever that works out to in hours, so probably 15, 20 hours. And it doesn't help that our drilling fluid is adding to the pile. So we either need to make more distillation towers for processing oil, or we just need to make this distillation tower faster. So there are many ways to do it. Technically, making more distillation towers would, yes, speed it up, and it would actually consume less power, but it's more expensive because... Whoops. Because stainless steel, well, these casings that you're looking at here are all stainless steel. Yes, we have 5,000 stainless steel, but I just finished making it after burning through, like, 2,000 making what you see here. So... Not to mention, any high-voltage machine will need stainless steel, so... I love that the machines take the color of the metal that makes them. Like, our new pink machines are pink because they use titanium. Okay, so we know the ore guy is working, so let's look up molten. I believe, yeah, this ilmenite, this crap is what's actually being used to make tungsten. Because that makes the raw ilmenite, then we process that down between the macerator, that gets us the crushed, and then from the crushed, we go into the ore processor. It gives us a small chance at rutile dust, and then we mix carbon, or no, where is it? Oh yeah, rutile, carbon dust, and chlorine gas gives us a bucket of titanium tetrachloride, and then titanium tetrachloride in the blast furnace mixed with magnesium gives us hot titanium ingots. It's a pain in the butt. Oh well, it sucks. But we do the best we can. It'd be nice to be able to make it more, like, more of it. That would be nice. Tantanite dust. I don't think there's probably any way at the moment we can make more out of it. Tantanite dust, hydro, blah blah blah, tantanite slurry residue, tantanite slurry, tantanite dust. Oh my goodness, it just keeps going. Oh yeah, and that comes from that Abydos dimension, which we ain't getting to anytime soon, because getting to the Abydos requires the ancient Stargate, and that's just not happening. Not anytime soon. I don't even know how to make a runic Stargate assembler. Oh, well, there you go. It's just a lot of crap in the shape of a football building. So, yeah, we're not making that anytime soon. Anyways, we need to worry about our own stuff. So what we need to do is start figuring out in the automation age. This is where we're at. So we've made our first tier of IV circuits. We need to eventually make this circuit assembler. This is our main goal at the moment, which we know how to make everything except for the EV emitter, which we know how to make all of that except for the platinum rods and the quantum eye. So we'll just tell you how to make it. That's a crafting one. Platinum rods, that's easy. That's the extruder. We've got that. Quantum eye is radon gas. In an IV... No, we're not making that anytime soon. Fusion reactor. That's ludicrous voltage. So this might be... Can distillation towers be overclocked? I am very curious on that one. You know what? Let's give it a try. We're going to put a second EV hatch into our currently EV distillation tower, and we'll see if it works. If it doesn't work, I'm not that sad that we made another one of these. I'll find another machine to use it in. Actually, if anything, it'll probably just go into the distillation tower that's doing our oil, and I'll just run another EV cable over to it. It's kind of nice that you get the pop-up little toast. All right, sir. We need you to... Ooh, you can. Okay, we're gonna do a little bit of jiggery pokery for a minute here. We're gonna grab two of you. I highly, highly doubt this 1 amp converter can handle. But we're gonna try it anyways. Let's grab our actual wrench from Greg Tech. Rotate it. Throw you in there. You're all happy, hunky-dory. Yeah, not enough amperage. That's what I thought. That's okay. That's okay. We'll go whip them up probably a 4 amp. Should be fine. How do we make... You take 1x. You probably need 4A EV. Oh no, that's an H. That's a transformer. We don't need that. Multiple... No, we don't need to get into that kind of crap. 4 amp energy converter. Yeah, we could do that. We'll just tell it to make new wire in the wire press. So your crafting recipe, you'll go into the molecular assembler. And we need to go down to our wire mill, who's definitely getting filled up. And now we should be able to do converter. I want a 4 amp energy converter. Unfortunately, the best we can do with this guy, if we never end up using him again, is throw him in a macerator. We can at least get some that are probably an arc furnace. Then we can get some titanium back out of him, because it took 9 titanium, well, 8 titanium to make him. The aluminum and the red alloy and all that, yeah, that's sure, that's fine. I'm happy about that, but the titanium's kind of the big one. And honestly, I'll probably end up doing that anyways. But not right now. Because we may... He's good enough to run a single machine. Pretty much any machine. So, like the cutter, if we have to... In fact, that's exactly where he's going to go. Because I still have a cutter inside my clean room that cannot function. Okay. Let's grab another flux point. Throw him down there. And that should keep that cutter alive. Normally you can just run power into the clean room, but I'm getting so tight on space in that thing. It's getting awful. Okay. Let's put these in there. So, a rod. You're the actual circuit assembler yourself, so you're just a standard crafting recipe. And I believe the eyeball is 2. Yes, it is. Well, it can be done in the assembler. But it saves me nothing, so you're going to go into the molecular assembler instead. We just can't quite make him yet. Hello? Oh, he's doing RAM wafers at the moment. Oh. That's kind of a problem. You know what? We'll be nice to it. Because technically you can only do it in here. Okay, so we'll have to remember that these... Why is that a problem? I don't understand that. I didn't think that was ever a problem. Well, that's fine. Eventually we're going to get some laser, like new laser engravers and stuff, and then we're going to just get these guys all taken care of. Okay, so back to the initial problem at hand. So we gotta make ender air, and a lot of it. And I'm not the most excited for that. Electrolyzer, oxygen and nitrogen. Because we're going to end up with a lot of nitrogen dioxide. I thought that could go into a greenhouse. Well, we could use it to make nitric acid, so that's fine. Okay. Does this guy need to be running at IV right now? No. No, he does not. Are we just going to leave him be so we don't have to... So we can do the other recipe later? Yes. Yes, we are. Yeah, see? 4 amps. Is that enough for him to run? He sure can. It's exactly enough, but it is enough. And that's all I care about. So now technically he's doing this recipe every 30 seconds instead of 60 seconds. But eventually what I'm going to have to do is stop him from doing that recipe and start doing the ender air at some point. Once we start having a ton of ender air. But for now he can just keep doing what he's doing. He can just do it at a faster rate now. Okay, how do we make ender air? Because yes, it is ender air. Well, I probably need to turn it into liquid ender air first in the vacuum freezer. And then that's going to go into the distillation tower. And it's cryogenic. Of course it is. So we can take nether air and... Let's just put that there. Put that there. So we have our order of operations that we're looking. So liquid ender air, nether air, and which is just end stone dust and an extractor, and I bet you getting end dust is, yeah, it's just macerating end stone. That's easy. Okay, nether air is air. Okay, that's a good sign. And nether amalgamito, which is literally just netherrack. We should have quite a bit of netherrack or end stone, so that's fine. But I will have to start getting the actual netherrack itself, which... Where is it? Netherrack. Large chemical reactor, 32 buckets of lava, and 16 redstone will make 32 netherrack. Hello, Gallaghers. How's it going? Okay. You, and you. Okay, let's... Netherrack. Your circuit type 0. You, I want you to stop exporting. We're going to clear out your inventory. So you can only ever have up to 32 buckets, and that should force the system to start making netherrack now. Yeah, look at that. It already made netherrack. So we'll take one piece of the netherrack. Let's go up to... I think I have a spare macerator. I sure do. Is there another way to make netherrack other than the large chemical reactor. Or netherrack pebbles. No. No, so that's literally the only way. So we might have to set up a dedicated large chemical reactor for making netherrack and a dedicated one for making endstone. That's probably going to be our smartest move. So he can do his thing, and then we need to mix air and this nether Elganeto thing, which, funny enough, comes in an extractor. And we have an extractor sitting right here. Netherrack dust. Let's throw that in there. Then the extractor will start turning it into that. And then we can start making nether air, which is great. Is there anything else nether air can make for us? Because I am very curious. Say we make liquid nether air. Neon, hydrogen sulfide, helium-3, sulfur dioxide, and carbon monoxide. So useful, but not the most useful at the moment. So instead, so we take you, you make nether air, then we mix you and the end to make ender air, and then we put you through the vacuum freezer. Okay. Shouldn't be too bad. What do we got for endstone? 1800. Not a lot, because that's also lava and glowstone dust. Okay. Clearly lava is important. Excuse me. And we don't produce a lot of lava, so that's gotta change right now. And I think the fastest one is the industrial barrel. Turns 1 cobblestone into 10 lava. If we do that at HV, that's every 20 seconds. If we do it at EV, that's 10 seconds. So assuming it's overclockable, we could just run it at EV right away. Or if we go insanity, we could get 10 buckets every 5 seconds. That's a little too much. Okay, so we are going to make... Oh, where to go? Right there. The industrial barrel. Little expensive. Yep, that is a little expensive. Let's do that. Let's teach it a high voltage emitter, because we seem to be using those more and more as time goes on. Okay. So you think, okay, that machine doesn't look too bad. It's not just a machine, it's a multi-block. That's the multi-block. Not too bad. A little expensive, but overall, not too bad. Okay. So we're already making that. We need a hatch. I like to use these auto maintenance hatches because regular maintenance hatches can randomly stop working, which is annoying. So this will take care of that for me. Okay. So we'll get those guys going. So we get the auto maintenance hatch. That's all good. Looks like we need our standard fluid inputs and outputs. We have a bunch of those in LV. It is perfectly fine to run it in LV. That's a bus. Now we just need... Nope, that's an energy hatch. We just need regular hatches. You know what? We're gonna do it. Let's do it. Let's just go big. Output hatch. No CPUs available. Yes, because those two are quite busy. I don't think we need MV, because we don't really have MV power on the base anymore. Okay, there's our big barrel. So now we can tell it, please start doing 2 hatches. Yes, they're both output, but we can switch one of them to input. And let's do, once the auto maintenance hatches are done, Or once the other ones are done, then we'll tell it do 2 buses. I really need to sit down and make a couple more crafting CPUs, because this is not good. This is why I usually do multi-blocks off camera. Oh, of course it's black steel. God. I don't think we have a lot of black steel left. Oh, we have a decent amount of it, actually. That's not too bad. Okay, it's almost done one of the hatches. Let's put that back in there. Let's clear that. Okay. We're gonna have to teach it how to make the black steel. That's in the assembler. Black steel rods are in the extruder. Throw you in the assembler. Throw you in the extruder. Now you know how to make that. Looks like those 2 buses are done, so let's make 2 of those. Let's go grab our hatches. Let's grab a screwdriver. So now we have our input and output hatch. Now we just need our input and output bus. There's our maintenance hatch. Let's grab the black steel frames. Whoops, we need 20 of those. Yeah, that consumed half of our black steel just making those. And then we need 4 steel pipe casing. We have 1, so let's make 3 more. Oh, all our CPUs are busy. Yeah, and it's a few steps. I'm not manually making that crap. We'll just wait for it to finish. It should be... You can hear the assembler. There it goes. They're done. Okay. Please make 3 of those. Okay. Laminated glass. That's an interesting one. Laminated glass. And then 50 stainless steel casings. Polyvinyl butyral plate. I genuinely do not think we have that in any way, shape, or form. But we do have a forming press, so we can teach it that one. There's our forming press. We can do forming presses with recipes that are up to 2 items, because to make the CPUs, the forming press has 6 inventory slots, but 4 of them are taken up by the 4 different types of CPUs. Okay, polyvinyl butyl ingots. Polyvinyl acetate and you. I don't think we have either one of you. But no, we do not. How do we make you guys? Carbon monoxide, hydrogen, and propane. That might actually not be too bad. And titanium tetrachloride, vinyl acetate, and air. That one might be a problem. Oops. I think I have a chemical reactor. Yes, I do. Okay, so that'll teach you how to make those 2 things. And then you guys together make that. That is also in a chemical reactor. And then we should be able to then take you. What do we have? What's a good electric furnace in ATM-10? If you're wanting to do it power-based, if I remember correctly, they have the electric furnace from the thermal series. But honestly, the best ones, if you look up the mod iron furnaces, you can add an upgrade into them. I think it's the factory upgrade. That'll convert it to using electric. And if you go all the way up as high as you possibly can, which will probably be at this point either obsidian or the netherite one, those things are really fast. But once you get all the way up to the unobtainium one, that one you literally cannot put in and pull out materials fast enough. Like, it's just too quick. So I'd use the iron furnaces with the industrial or factory. I think it's a factory upgrade. That'll be your fastest. Okay. Fluid solidifier. Nope. Alloy smelter. Nope. Chemical bath. Extruder. Advanced fluid solidifier. Let's go look at him. Can't remember where he is. Oh, that might be him right there. Okay, so we have it set to doing ingots. Okay, so we say fluid solidifier. Where are you? Please make my ingots. And then I think we needed the sheets. So after that, for now we can just do crafting, and then you can put that into a cutter. It's not the greatest, but okay, let's go for broke. And let's see if we can just make 9 laminated glass. We're missing vinyl acetate and titanium tetrachloride. Saw that one coming. Vinyl acetate and titanium tetrachloride. Okay, vinyl acetate is ethylene. We should have crap tons of ethylene. Yeah, right there. What the heck? Okay. Okay, let's start teaching it how to make that. What are you laughing at? What are you guy? Get out of here with your business. Okay. Chemical reactor. Okay, so that should... You ugly ass, lol. You know what? Actually, it's U''RE, but, you know. Unless... Well, I guess it depends on how you're saying it. If I'm saying I am an ugly ass. But, I appreciate the subscription. That's awesome. Thanks, Leg. Always got my back. Okay, titanium tetrachloride. Yeah, we can teach it. That one. Titanium tetrachloride. And that was also in a chemical reactor. Okay. Laminated glass. I just taught you how to make that. Are you dumb? Oh, I don't think... Well, maybe I didn't teach at the actual top level. No, I didn't. I am dumbass. Oh, that might be why. Yeah, that's why. And, yeah. Okay, that was a me. I need to switch it so it thinks it's titanium. The other one's just a byproduct. There we go. Okay. I am a generous god. I share with the lonely peasants. We thank you, dear God, for giving us peasants a reason to keep going. What would we do without you? Okay, now this jackass should be able to make it. I bet you that chemical reactor is about to have a stroke. Let's go find him. There he is, chemical reactor. Wait, what are you... Carbon monoxide... Oh, God, here we go. Well, it is making it. So, how are my drives doing? They seem to be fine. What's Leg Monkey Gaming up to this evening? I am very curious. If I had to guess, Hightail. I heard carbon monoxide is out next to oxygen, though. Yeah. I don't even know where you're going with that one. I'm trying to figure it out, and I just finished prepping next few days, lunch, then streaming something. Nice, nice. Are you gonna do Hightail again, or got any ideas for what you're gonna stream tonight? We've been doing definitely a lot of Hightail lately. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's a great game. Something I'm definitely excited to get into. And I also want to say a double thank you, because you just hit 4 months as a subscriber, so that is super awesome. I appreciate the support, buddy. You know, depending on what peeps are wanting to stream and who's around, could do something. I turned on Star Technology just as something to do, but you know, I am available. We can switch over to a different game if we wanted to stream something. To be honest, I don't even think I wouldn't mind doing what is it? Drive Beyond. Haven't done that one in a while. Could do that. What are we waiting on? Oh my lord, that is slow. Wow. That is really slow. Yeah, we haven't done a collab in a while, so I would definitely be down for doing something. So I can, if we want to do a collab, I have no problem saying we'll cut her on Star Technology. Take a break when, you know, you can kind of let me know when you're ready to go, and then we can switch over to something else. So I don't have to be playing Star Technology tonight. Yeah, we could do Drive Beyond if other people are around. I don't know if anybody's got time tonight, but there's always RV There Yet. That one's always a classic, but definitely can't do that unless Revo and Jake are around. So always slowly wait. I should be good to go in an hour. Okay. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, let me know what game you think you're thinking of playing, and we'll go from there. I'm down to play whatever we want. In the meantime, we're just waiting on that. I think it made the black steel frames. It sure did. Let's grab a screwdriver. Switch him to an input bus, our black steel. And then where are we at with the clean? We need 50. I have 28, so I need to make 32 more. Stone Simulator. Let's do it. Honestly, I think it would be a hilarious stream, because they have that through, I think it's through Steam. You can do like a play together. Just one day, just do a dumb stream of some game like that, like Placid Plastic Duck Simulator, but do it as like a 2-player thing where we both are doing it, or Stone Simulator or something. That'd be funny. I used to do, what was it? The Detroit Becoming Human. I was playing the stream together. Because it was interesting, but not interesting enough for me to want to buy the game. But the person I was playing with already had the game and loved it and wanted me to come and play it with them. I'm like, okay. Look at all that chemical making. I don't think we're going to make a lot of this polyvinyl butytate or whatever this crap is. Let's see. Polyvinyl. Like, other than that, like, what benefit does it have? Yeah, I think we literally just need it to make laminated glass. Oh, but good thing we taught it how to do that. Because I didn't realize the next tier, a lot of these machines need laminated glass. Wow, okay. Because when we get into IV and LUV, like, look at most of these machines need it. And the mega bulk storage, if we ever get to that. Blacklight, oh, you're not making that. Not around all these machines. Whew. Okay, there's that. There, we also need... How did I mix the math up on that one? Oh, I was supposed to make 22. Oops. Well, that was my own ass-backwards math. Whatever. We use that stainless steel casing so much that I don't care to have a bunch of it on hand. And if by any heaven is just... I need the stainless steel out of it, you can smelt it down and get exactly the same amount of stainless steel out of it that you put into it. So there's no problem having that around. What was the other? There it is. Laminated glass. Okay. That should be everything. Make our industrial barrel. Okay, how does this multi-block layout? So it is a 5x5 block, and he goes into the second row, and all our crap comes out the ass end of it. Okay. Slab. Let's grab some slabs, and let's make some more slabs. What? Fine. I'll teach you how to make slabs. By the way, if you have the terminals from this, you can literally teach it how to make crap and put it all in there right from wireless, so I don't have to go back. Please make me 1,000 of those. Okay. Let's turn on our fancy building. The greatest frickin' mod that this mod pack has to offer. I love how it, like, randomly picks. It's like, nope, not gonna do it. Okay, let's disable that. Put those in there, those in there. Okay, I think the stone barrel's gonna go here. Is that one barrel's gonna replace these 3. In fact, we might even be able to just put it in right there. We may build that platform for nothing. Let's pick up all of this. Let's grab that. Grab you, grab you. Grab you, grab you. Don't need any of this crap no more. Goodbye, goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye. I have been wanting to do that for so long now. Let's get rid of all that crap. Oh yeah, we still needed to grab the steel casing. Yeah, there we go. Okay, that can all go in there. We'll deal with that later. Let's grab our stone casings. And I think we're going to put the barrel this way. So if this is the center point, kind of want it to go there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stainless steel. Put you down. Grab our terminal. Boop. There's our maintenance hatch. Let's grab all of these 4 blocks. Okay. Buses for items. So input bus, output bus. Input hatch, output hatch. I actually may just tear that whole thing down and move it back 1 block. Yep, we're gonna do that. That's what I get for not paying attention. Fine, it's fine. At least in this, you don't actually have to manually build all of your multi-blocks. You can use this terminal. It's nice and cheap. It's something you get, like, you can make pretty much right at the beginning of the mod pack. And you just place the controller block down, and as long as you have everything in your inventory, you just shift, right-click, and it builds it for you. So handy. And then because we have the auto input hatch, maintenance is always fine. Okay, input bus, input hatch, output hatch. So fluids, items, easy. And we only really actually need those two at the moment, because we're just doing cobblestone. Let's put you there. Grab some more glass cable, because we know there's one right there. Okay. Definitely going to give you an acceleration card. Cobblestone. We have infinite cobblestone, so I really do not care. Let's look up lava to see if we have to set the circuit type or change anything. Okay, industrial barrel, magmatic. So we'll have to convert it to magmatic and then start putting the cobblestone into it. Hello, big boy. Industrial barrel, magmatic. Okay. The only other block is I don't know where it actually put it. I don't think this thing actually has any power. So let's grab you. Where did all my high voltage energy hatches from earlier go? Oh, they're all in that backpack. That would have been silly of me. Let's throw those in the ME system, and then I never have to look for them again. And heaven forbid, make more of them. Okay, lithium cable. Yeah, we're good to take off of him. Let's grab our wire cutters. Clip. Okay, he's got power. Maybe one day we'll try overclocking it, but for now that should be good because we go to the stone barrel at high voltage. It's 10 buckets every 20 seconds. That's pretty fast. Okay. Now let's tell him. Let's grab our cobblestone, throw that in there. That'll go in. He's already working. So if we go over to his interface, you can see that, and it'll make 10,000 buckets, or the equivalency of 500 millibuckets a second. You know what? I'm curious. Oh, Revo. What a guy. Oh, I can't see. What a guy. Comes in here making a ruckus. There, let's see. Yeah, 10 seconds now. I have no words for you, sir. Other than, well played. That was funny. Okay, let's look at our lava. Where's lava? Probably all going into this large chemical reactor at the moment. Sure is. Okay. Nether. So we need to do you in a mixer. Oh, I make you speechless. Yeah, something like that. If that's what we want to call it. Oh, that's an autoclave. Do I not have any free mixers? Wow. That's kind of crazy. All my machines are busy. Any of these mixers, like, not doing anything? Oh, hang on. You. And air. That might work. That might work. That might work. That's a mixer. Nether air. Doesn't need to be set, but it needs to run at HV. Let's grab 2 acceleration cards. How is Revo tonight? How goes all the mods. There. Let's throw that in there. That'll fill up nice and quick. There. He'll take forever, but he'll make us a bunch of nether air. And then we'll have to start setting up all the machines. We're going to have to build the 3rd floor to this base. Which now makes me beg the question. If we make a 3rd floor, do we just keep all our machines here for processing and take all of these guys out and move them upstairs? That sounds awful. Or do we just leave them there and keep doing this mixing hodgepodge mess till we make the new base? I don't know. Oh yeah, look at that. We're starting to get into the 5th cell of fluids. That's all the different types of fluids that I'm dealing with right now. Nice. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Yeah, these are all the types of fluids that I'm dealing with right now. And that's like a drop in the bucket. Like, look at them all. It's horrible. Just crazy. Okay. So we know eventually... So let's... Ender air. Let's just put it here and remind ourselves that's what we're trying to make is radon gas. And if we really need to remember ourselves why we're trying to make radon gas... where's the recipe for chemical bath? Right here. Trying to make a quantum eye. And we need a quantum eye for the EV emitter. So that'll remind us what we're trying to do. Whether I do that later tonight or next week, who knows. But now we're making crap tons of lava. Which I'm curious. We might actually have to make a barrel per large chemical reactor. Wouldn't that be funny? Because I bet you there's no lava in here. Nope, there sure isn't. We're getting copious amounts of nether air, though. I'm happy about that. Which one's making the nether air again? Right here. You can hold up to 16. Should probably put a pipe upgrade in you. Because you won't start the next batch. Because it'll do 12 at a time, and then it won't start the next batch until it drops all the way down to 4 buckets remaining. Or 6 buckets. No, 4. So we want to get that out of there as quick as we can. And the nice thing is we have lots of air. We literally get that crap for free. So we got 1,000 buckets in there, and then this guy, similar to how the other machines are making or working, this guy is, I think he makes 10,000 buckets every few seconds. So I don't mind that. Yeah, see, it voided that out real quick. I had to put in bigger buffers to have more fluid type slots. Well, at least we're getting nether air, which is good. That'll get us just a little bit closer to end air. Which is a good source of nitrogen. We can also make warped mycelium stones. Why would we ever need that? Watch, warp dust is used for like some crazy crap. Hellish concentrate. Oh. Hellish concentrate. What is that used for? Infernal tar. And a hellish star. Oh. Which makes an end crystal. Why would you ever need an end crystal? Well, I guess you need that fusion reactor. The fact that these are in here and have a modified recipe tells me... Nope, they are not needed for anything. Okay, well, whatever. Fusion reactor Mark IV. Ah, So the fusion reactors are their glorified particle accelerators. Energy hatch, voltage in, amperage. I thought fusion the react EU to start. 280 million EU. Okay, so fusion reactors, despite their name, are not used for making power. They consume power to make random crap. Alright. How is power doing? Well, it's over 1 billion now, so that's pretty good. I mean, it's only working because these guys are not actually doing anything at the moment. Okay. Titanium, tetrafluoride, cobalt sludge, vanadium. Vanadium mag. Is there... I wonder if there is a better way. No, we can't just make magmatic titanium. There's got to be a better way. Adamantite, whatever that is. Titanium trifluoride. Aquata dust and fluoronomadic. Aquata dust. Aquata netherite. It looks like eventually we can get into an aquata. EDC coolant, nether star shard makes 64. Can we even make nether star shards anytime soon? Nether star dust, impure nether star. IV, we're at EV. No, we cannot. Technically, we could make the shards. That'll make us a ton of skystone. That'll make us a ton of lava. That's only used for the nether star. Crooksite. What is crooksite? Thallium and selenium. I think selenium comes into play at some point. Maybe not. I thought it came in with the ZPM material. I could be wrong, though. I could be wrong. Why do I feel like this is going to be like a crazy chemical for wire mill? Yep. Oh, it's not a superconductor. That's surprising. But it is an EUV conductor. Ah, but you need it to make power routers and that kind of stuff. Computational matrix. Aha. That's how we start doing research and stuff. And like EUV field generators. Hellforged chestplate. Why do you need armor in this? Unless that Abydos, whatever biome or dimension is awful, but I heard it's just a flat desert. So, who knows? Who knows? Cool. We probably can't get EV power over there anytime soon. But I would like to get this macerator going quicker. Can we make one more energy hatch and a power converter? Let's see if we can make a 4 amp converter. And An EV energy hatch. Because I'd really like to get this guy going faster. This cutter has been beautiful. He's keeping up perfectly fine. But this macerator is just not. Which is crazy, because all his recipes are like 1.25 seconds each. So I don't know if I have to start doing, like, parallel hatching with him or something to get him going faster. I'm not sure. Maybe energy hatch and the 4 amp emitter. How are those guys doing? He's just about done. There's our converter. I did not, but I could buy it. What does it go for? I can't remember. Let's check the Steam app on my phone. Steam. Wobbly life. He's eating pizza dogs, not the poor beagles. Those poor beagles. They had so much to live for. But at least they're making nice pizza for Revo. Revo, I had corn dogs. What's with you two and eating dogs for lunch or for supper? Or did you eat Quinn? Who knows? I guess we'll never know. And I actually don't want to know. We're cultured. Is it cultured or crazy? They both start with C. Okay, let's get rid of you. Get rid of you. Break you. Throw you in there. Throw you in there. Snip, snip. Well, I was considering making hot dogs. Wow, that sped them up nicely. Does hot dogs work? Or is that still... Am I not sophisticated enough? But he's definitely keeping up. Actually, he's keeping up too. Okay, so the large macerator. Hot dogs are just a pass. Well. As long as I get a pass in your books. Yeah, did we want to do wobbly life? Could do that. I don't have the expenses of beer this weekend, so it frees up a couple bucks this weekend for buying a game. Although, as much as I enjoy collaborating streaming, part of me is like, oh man, I wish I could just have a beer. Okay, I really hope this is enough to make that stupid guy. I haven't bought it yet either. Trying to find something you already have, lol. Fair enough, fair enough. It's hard coming up with ideas for games, for sure. Let's take a look here. For 2-player. Not really feeling a first-person shooter, per se. Maybe if I have, like, an exploration and puzzle game. Those are always fun. Let's see here. I do have Escape the Backrooms. We wanted to do that. I don't know. Something to think about. Wait, didn't you get human fall flat? Yeah. Yes, I did. Yes, I've got that one. I just saw it on the library. I had to double check it because I read it, but I wanted to like double check before I said anything. Okay, aren't parallel hatches in my future or present? Elites allows for recipe. Can that be used? Oh, that's the large maceration tower. Why the hell would I want to do that? Large macerator. Right there. Maintenance hatch, blah, blah, blah. Perfect. Large variant of the macerator that can process materials with more energy efficiency. Has perfect overclock. Yeah, why don't we do that one then? That works for me. Mechanics. Perfect overclocking. When using a multi-block version of a single block, you have the option to perfect overclock the machine. You can access this in the same way as normal overclock, however, it will decrease the processing time even more. But it's only allowed one energy input, so how is it can do... How? Because using multiple version, yeah. You can access this the same way as a normal overclock, however, it will decrease the processing time even more. That makes no damn sense to me. Or grinding. I am holding shift. Maybe it's this shift? No. .3 seconds, large macerator. What? Okay, let's just make a hatch. Because overclocking is... Yeah. To be honest with you, I actually completely forgot about that game. Am I going to be... if I'm going to be honest with you. We bought it and I forgot about it. Uh-oh. Where are you full? What are you full of? Vanadium. Where is that coming from? Where are you getting that from? Ooh. Vanadium magnetite dust. What do you turn into? Magnetite and vanadium. Since I can't process that right now. How'd that help? 1%? 1%. Oh, it's still going. There were 12,000? There was 17,000 of that in there? Holy moly. Yeah, no wonder my chest was full. Every time you mention Goofy in a game, my immediate thought is Goofy Gorillas. Well, definitely sitting pretty on quite a few things, actually. Vault Macerator, make us proud. And if not, go home. Okay. Raw. Like, it is chewing down pretty damn quick. Like, this thing's gotta be able to keep up now. It doesn't even have to do the gold. I haven't done gold in a while, because I do that manually for the experience through the crushing wheels. Yeah, I think doing Goofy Gorillas would be fun if we can get, like, a few friends on. Yeah. Yeah, like you say, you need a group of 4. So that one might have to wait a bit. Maybe that can be something we can look after RV there yet. Something to consider. Leg, what's your kind of rough ETA? I'm just trying to decide, because I want to give myself like 10-15 before we get going to catch a break, grab a snack. So basically let me know when I have about 20 minutes till you're ready to get going, and then I'll shut her down and go grab a snack and whatnot. Okay, raw. Yeah, it's like almost done with. What am I doing with Realgar? That's the question. I feel like it's used for something. Good to start at 8. Okay. So we'll stream for about 20 minutes and then... Oops. Ah, arsenic. You need that from the gallium arsenide dust. That is right. Or samarium iron arsenic oxide dust. Well, that works out perfect. Because, yeah, we're about to head out and switch to another game, so... That works out perfect. I do appreciate you hanging out for the stream, though. We're going to keep going, though. We got about 15 minutes, so we'll figure out. Ah. That was dinner. But what about supper? These are the questions we have to ponder, Lag. It's not always just about dinner. There's supper, too. That is important. Wow, these actually have nothing in their muffler hatches? That's surprising. Well, if Lexi's cooking, you can't say no. Unless you're gonna share your portions. Then you can say no all you want. We'll be like, don't worry, we'll clean up the mess for you. His dessert will be a kitty. I feel like that's an innuendo. Bye, boo-boo. We'll see you later. Enjoy your kitty dessert. What a guy. Okay. Yeah, you were literally keeping up almost perfectly with... Ah! Yeah, I feel like it's an innuendo. He can enjoy his dessert. Good for him. Yeah, we're literally gonna need a dedicated stone barrel because I want a lot of ender gas. I don't really need the carbon monoxide per se from it. At least I don't think, or carbon dioxide. Actually, speaking of that, I don't see any carbon anything in here, which means this guy might not be running. Yeah, he is not running. We are not making logs. Uh-oh. Greenhouse. Yeah, you need carbon dioxide. How was I getting carbon dioxide? Definitely none of those ways. Acetic acid, definitely not. Distillation tower, wood gas, liquid air. Argon. Oh! Because that gets us our oxygen and nitrogen, but then we get helium, argon, and carbon dioxide as well. For every 50 buckets of liquid air, which is just a vacuum freezer with air. Okay, we're going to have to start looking into that for carbon dioxide. In the meantime, we need to switch you, sir, back to circuit type 0. You'll only be making 16 logs at a time instead of a stack of logs at a time, but that's fine because we need charcoal desperately. Because if we run out of charcoal, we run out of power because all these guys shut down. I am working on alternative power. I'm just waiting for resources to kind of catch up a bit because we're going to be using... What is it? Nitro... This stuff, nitrobenzene. Sulfuric acid, yeah, that's easy to get. We need this benzene, which we are starting to get a fair bit of that. Nitric acid, I believe oxygen, hydrogen, and nitrogen. We can do that. So yeah, we have different ways of getting nitric acid, which is great. So, and could use a bit of the nitrogen dioxide too if we felt like it, but I don't really want to do that. So I am slowly working on different things because we want to use the nitrobenzene, and then that's going to go into a large gas turbine, this guy right here, because he's going to produce a crap ton of power at EV. He's going to burn through a lot of that, but as long as we can keep up with the nitrobenzene, we should be good. But yeah, this guy's going to be our main... This is what I'm thinking about for our primary power source. Rotor holder, and we'll need a dynamo hatch. So it looks like we can kind of pick whatever dynamo hatch we want to, and that's what it's just going to make. But we have to put it in relative terms to its EU generation. Base production is 4,096 EU per tick. So I'm kind of thinking... Let's see if we can do Verter. Can these things... They can. Because I'm kind of thinking... 8 amps. We could do something like this guy. Or vice versa. Or maybe we need to go bigger. I'm not sure. We'll have to figure that out. But I want to convert from EU into RF. Store all our power as RF. And then convert it back into the different variants of EU that we need. Because then we go from a whole bunch of different voltages and everything to one unified voltage. And one unified power. And then we can redistribute it and have it work no matter how, like, however we see fit. So that's kind of my end goal with this. It's just a matter of making the nitrobenzene. We have basically unlimited sulfuric acid at this point. Nitric acid, I just need to work on nitrogen dioxide. That's kind of going to be our big one. But we're going to get a lot of it when we start processing the ender air. So that'll help with that part. And then... yeah, we don't have access to the end right now. I wish there was like a... I mean, nitric oxide, ammonia, nitrogen and hydrogen I can get from water and methane. Methane, we are getting quite a bit of methane as well. So we have different methods for making the different chemicals we need. I just need to figure out which ones I think are going to be the best ones and then kind of go from there. Looks like all our drives are doing relatively okay. I'm gonna have to do something with this creosote oil. Could just put it in a compression dynamo. It's just to burn it. Because I thought about voiding it even. But I'll have to figure that out. Nitrogen. Are we not? Yeah, we are actually running out of nitrogen. And I have 2 guys going. Yeah, there's one here. And I think there's another one around here somewhere as well. Yes, he's got air in him. Let's see who else has air. Might be one of these guys here. Nope. He's our steam maker. Huh. I thought I had two of those guys making... Hydrogen, heavy fuel, distilled, sulfuric, raw ore. Nope. That's definitely not those guys. Centrifuge, salt water. No, you just need to worry about... Don't... We already have somebody doing that. Please stop doing that. That's error number 1. That's error number 2. Centrifuge, centrifuge. What is your deal? Why aren't you producing? Oh, you have no power. Oh my goodness. No wonder we're running out of nitrogen. This guy wasn't even running. Oh, I'm dumb of ass. Okay. I think we're good to go at this point now. Normally I wouldn't be so concerned, but we do burn through a fair bit with the EBFs. Like a fair bit of nitrogen. So. Alright, let's see the time. Yeah, we're pretty much at that point now where I think we're ready to wrap up on Star Technology. So, I'm going to take a little bit of a break here. Go grab a snack and whatnot, and some food, and then I'll connect up with Lag Monkey, and we'll start moving over to our other game. So, yeah. Well, I appreciate everybody hanging out. That was awesome. Had a good time. So, I started doing a little bit more things, got a little more progression done on the base, which I'm excited for, so I can't wait to see where things continue from here. So, but yeah, I appreciate everybody hanging out, and we'll chat with you guys later. See you in a bit.